Welcome, friends, to a world where the sky meets the earth, where gods walk among mortals, and heroes perform incredible feats, defying fate and monsters. Tonight, we'll take a calming journey down the roads of ancient Greece to touch its timeless myths and legends. Stories that have inspired poets, artists, and thinkers for thousands of years and still stir our hearts and minds. Get comfortable. Close your eyes. Picture sun-drenched slopes crowned by the glowing palaces of the immortal gods on Mount Olympus. Hear the soft rustle of olive groves, the babble of sacred springs where nymphs once played. Listen for the distant sound of Apollo's lyre drifting over blooming valleys. Smell the wild herbs and the salty sea breeze drifting from the shores of the Aegean Sea, where legendary heroes were born and performed their great deeds. This talk is for your deep relaxation and peaceful sleep. We'll talk about the creation of the world, powerful gods, brave heroes, love and hate, betrayal and loyalty, the eternal battle between good and evil. We'll do this calmly, letting ancient images and wise tales soothe you, distract you from daily worries, and gently carry you into the world of dreams where anything is possible. If you enjoy this journey, remember to like and subscribe. We'd be very grateful. Now, shedding the chains of reality, we set sail across the vast ocean of Greek mythology. Greek myths aren't just fairy tales. They're a complex system reflecting how the ancient Greeks saw the world, its origin, the gods and humans, nature's forces, life and death. It was their way to explain the unexplainable, find their place in the universe, and pass down morals and life experience. These myths hold history, religion, philosophy, art, and daily life. They're full of deep wisdom, insight into human nature, and timeless beauty. Our journey begins at the very start, in those ancient times before earth, sky, gods, or people existed. In the beginning, ancient myths say, there was only eternal, boundless, dark chaos, a yawning void, the primal abyss from which everything came. Chaos was the source of life, but had no form or order. From chaos arose the first mighty force, Gaia, the broad-breasted earth, giving life to everything living and growing upon her. Gaia was the universal mother and nurse. Deep under the earth, as far below as the sky is above, gloomy Tartarus was born, a terrifying abyss of eternal darkness and cold, a prison for fallen gods and great sinners. From chaos also came dark night, Nyx, and eternal darkness, Erebus. From night and darkness came eternal light, ether, and joyful, bright day, Hemera. Light spread through the world, and day and night began to take turns. Mighty, life-giving Gaia gave birth to the boundless blue sky, Uranus. The sky spread over the earth, and high mountains born of Gaia proudly rose towards it. The ever-roaring sea spread wide. Uranus, the sky, reigned over the world. He married the life-giving earth, Gaia. Uranus and Gaia had 6 sons and 6 daughters, the powerful and fearsome Titans and Titanesses. Their son, the Titan Oceanus, who flowed like an endless river around the whole earth, and the goddess Tethys, gave birth to all the rivers flowing to the sea, and the sea goddesses, the Oceanids. The Titan Hyperion and Theia gave the world children, the sun, Helios, the moon, Selene, and rosy-fingered dawn, Eos, Aurora. From Astraeus and Eos came all the stars burning in the dark night sky and all the winds, the stormy north wind, Boreas, the east wind, Eurus, the damp south wind, Notus, and the gentle west wind, Zephyr, bringing abundant rains. Besides the Titans, mighty Gaia bore 3 more giants, the one-eyed Cyclopes, Brontes Thunderer, Steropes Lightner, Argus Bright, skilled blacksmiths who later forged Zeus's thunderbolts, and 3 more huge mountain-sized giants with 50 heads and 100 hands each, the Hecatoncheires, Cottus, Briareos, Gyges. Their raw power was limitless. Uranus hated his giant children, the Cyclopes and Hecatoncheires, for their monstrous looks and wild strength. He imprisoned them deep within the earth, in gloomy Tartarus, and wouldn't let them see the light. Their mother, Gaia, suffered terribly, weighed down by this awful burden locked within her depths. She called her Titan children to rise against their father Uranus, but they were afraid to raise a hand against their mighty parent. Only the youngest, cunning Cronus, Saturn to the Romans, tricked his father, overthrew him, and took his power. As punishment for Cronus's crime, the goddess Night gave birth to a host of terrifying deities: Thanatos, death; Eris, strife; Apate, deceit; the Charis, destruction; Hypnos, sleep; and the tribe of dark, heavy dreams, Oneiroi; Nemesis, retribution for crime, and many others. These deities brought terror, strife, misfortune, and deceit into the world. Cronus, now ruler of the world, wasn't sure of his power. He feared his father's fate, that his own children would rise against him. So he married his sister Rhea and ordered her to bring him every child she bore, which he mercilessly swallowed. Rhea was horrified seeing the fate of her babies. Cronus had already swallowed 5: Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon. Rhea couldn't bear to lose her last child. On the advice of her parents, Uranus, Sky, and Gaia, Earth, she went to the island of Crete. There, in a deep cave on Mount Dicte, her youngest son, Zeus, Jupiter to the Romans, was born. Rhea hid her son from his cruel father and gave Cronus a long stone wrapped in swaddling clothes to swallow instead. Cronus didn't suspect the trick. Meanwhile, Zeus grew up on Crete. Nymphs Adrasteia and Ida cared for little Zeus, feeding him milk from the divine goat Amalthea. Bees brought honey to little Zeus from the slopes of high Mount Dicte. At the cave entrance, young Curetes, sons of Gaia, clashed their swords against shields whenever baby Zeus cried, so Cronus wouldn't hear him and Zeus wouldn't share his siblings' fate. Zeus grew up beautiful and mighty. He rose against his father Cronus and forced him to vomit up the swallowed gods. They emerged from Cronus's belly, beautiful and radiant. A terrible and stubborn battle began. The children of Cronus, the new Olympian gods, fighting the old Titan gods for control of the world. This battle, known as the Titanomachy, lasted 10 long years. The Titans were mighty and fearsome, but Zeus freed the Cyclopes from Tartarus. They forged thunderbolts for him, which he hurled at the Titans. The 100-handed Hecatoncheires, also freed by Zeus from the earth's depths, came to the Olympians' aid. They tore whole rocks from mountains and threw them at the Titans. The earth groaned, the air shook with the noise, everything blazed. Finally, the Titans were defeated and thrown into gloomy Tartarus, guarded by the Hecatoncheires. But the struggle for power wasn't over. Gaia, the earth, was furious with Zeus for treating her Titan children so harshly. She gave birth to another terrible monster, the 100-headed dragon Typhon, to fight Zeus. Typhon was so huge his heads touched the stars, his outstretched arms reached from east to west. Fire shot from his mouths, his eyes flashed fire. Earth and sky shuddered when Typhon rose from the depths. Even the Olympian gods were terrified and fled to Egypt, turning into animals. Only Zeus didn't flinch. He fought a terrible battle with Typhon, hurling thunderbolts until he burned away all 100 heads. Defeated Typhon was thrown into Tartarus by Zeus. After defeating the Titans and Typhon, the new Olympian gods divided the world. Zeus became the supreme god, king of gods and men, ruler of the sky and thunder. His elder brother Poseidon got the seas. His other brother Hades got the underworld, the realm of the dead. Earth remained shared by all. The Olympian gods settled on high Mount Olympus in shining palaces built by the skillful Hephaestus. From there they ruled the world, decided human fates, meddled in their affairs, loved and hated, quarreled and made up, much like mortals themselves, but unlike them, were immortal and forever young. So, according to the ancient Greeks, ordered cosmos arose from chaos, and mighty gods reigned on Olympus, their deeds and adventures forming countless myths and legends. As we picture these grand scenes of creation, Titan battles, and Olympian rule, let our minds gradually calm, drifting into the silence of night, where the most magical dreams are born, full of ancient wisdom and harmony. So, friends, having established their rule after defeating the Titans and monstrous Typhon, the Olympian gods settled atop Mount Olympus, the highest mountain in Greece, whose peaks the ancient Greeks believed touched heaven itself and were hidden from mortal eyes by ever-glowing clouds. There, in golden palaces built by the skillful smith god Hephaestus, they lived their immortal lives, full of arguments, intrigue, love, and jealousy, watching the human world closely and often meddling in their fates. There were 12 main Olympian gods, though the exact list sometimes changed slightly in different myths and cults. Let's meet these mighty and brilliant rulers. Supreme among the Olympians was, of course, Zeus, son of Cronus and Rhea, saved from his bloodthirsty father and leader of the fight against the Titans. Zeus was king of gods and men, lord of the sky, clouds, thunder, and lightning. His name means bright sky or day. He sat on a golden throne atop Olympus, holding a scepter, symbol of power, and the aegis, a shield made from the hide of the divine goat Amalthea, terrifying his enemies. His sacred animals were the eagle soaring high and the bull, symbol of strength. His sacred tree was the mighty oak. Zeus distributed good and evil among men, established laws, enforced them, protected the weak and wronged, and patronized hospitality and the family hearth. He was wise and just, but also quick-tempered, amorous, and often unfaithful to his wife Hera, leading to many myths about his affairs and demigod children. He appeared to mortal women in various forms. To Danae as golden rain, to Europa as a beautiful white bull, to Leda as a swan. As we picture these grand scenes of creation, Titan battles, and Olympian rule, let our minds gradually calm, drifting into the silence of night, where the most magical dreams are born, full of ancient wisdom and harmony. So, friends, having established their rule after defeating the Titans and monstrous Typhon, the Olympian gods settled atop Mount Olympus, the highest mountain in Greece, whose peaks the ancient Greeks believed touched heaven itself and were hidden from mortal eyes by ever-glowing clouds. There, in golden palaces built by the skillful smith god Hephaestus, they lived their immortal lives, full of arguments, intrigue, love, and jealousy, watching the human world closely and often meddling in their fates. There were 12 main Olympian gods, though the exact list sometimes changed slightly in different myths and cults. Let's meet these mighty and brilliant rulers. Supreme among the Olympians was, of course, Zeus, son of Cronus and Rhea, saved from his bloodthirsty father and leader of the fight against the Titans. Zeus was king of gods and men, lord of the sky, clouds, thunder, and lightning. His name means bright sky or day. He sat on a golden throne atop Olympus, holding a scepter, symbol of power, and the aegis, a shield made from the hide of the divine goat Amalthea, terrifying his enemies. His sacred animals were the eagle soaring high and the bull, symbol of strength. His sacred tree was the mighty oak. Zeus distributed good and evil among men, established laws, enforced them, protected the weak and wronged, and patronized hospitality and the family hearth. He was wise and just, but also quick-tempered, amorous, and often unfaithful to his wife Hera, leading to many myths about his affairs and demigod children. He appeared to mortal women in various forms. To Danae as golden rain, to Europa as a beautiful white bull, to Leda as a swan. Zeus's wife and sister was Hera, Juno to the Romans. She was queen of the gods, patroness of marriage, family, and motherhood. Hera was majestic and beautiful, but known for her domineering, jealous, and vengeful nature. She cruelly persecuted Zeus's lovers and their children, like Hercules and Dionysus. Her sacred animals were the peacock, whose feathers, legend says, are adorned with the eyes of the 100-eyed giant Argus killed by Hermes, and the cow. Her sacred plant was the pomegranate, symbol of fertility and marriage. Zeus's brother Poseidon, Neptune to the Romans, got the sea. He was god of seas, oceans, rivers, springs, earthquakes, and horses. Poseidon lived in a splendid underwater palace in the Aegean depths, surrounded by Nereids, Tritons, and other sea deities. His symbol was the trident, with which he could stir storms, shatter rocks, and calm waves. Poseidon was powerful and fearsome, often clashing with other gods, especially Athena over patronage of Attica, which he lost. He created the horse by striking a rock with his trident and was considered the patron of horse breeding. His wife was the sea nymph Amphitrite. Another brother of Zeus, Hades, Pluto or Hades to the Romans, became lord of the gloomy, joyless underworld where souls of the dead went. Hades was stern and implacable. People feared to say his name aloud. He rarely left his underworld kingdom, where he sat on a throne with his wife Persephone, daughter of Demeter, whom he had abducted from the world of the living. The entrance to Hades's realm was guarded by the three-headed dog Cerberus. The gloomy ferryman Charon rode souls across the river Styx. Hades was also considered god of underground riches, like metals and gems. Zeus's daughter, born from his own head, Athena Pallas, Minerva to the Romans, was one of Greece's most revered goddesses. She was goddess of wisdom, just warfare, strategy, crafts, arts and sciences, patroness of cities, especially Athens, named after her. Athena was depicted as a beautiful but stern warrior woman in a helmet with a spear and the aegis shield bearing the head of Medusa. Her sacred symbols were the owl, wisdom, and the olive tree, which she gave to Athens. Athena was a virgin goddess, never marrying or having children. She helped many heroes like Hercules, Odysseus, and Perseus. Zeus and Leto's son, Apollo, or Phoebus, radiant one to the Romans, was god of light, the sun, sometimes identified with Helios, harmony, music, poetry, arts, healing, and prophecy. Apollo was a beautiful youth with golden curls, armed with a bow and arrows that could bring healing or sudden death. He was patron of the Muses, 9 goddesses of arts and sciences, and often shown with a lyre or kithara. His main sanctuary was the temple at Delphi, home of the famous oracle, whose predictions through the priestess Pythia hugely influenced Greek life. His sacred animals were the swan, wolf, and dolphin. His sacred plant was the laurel. Apollo's twin sister, Artemis, Diana to the Romans, was goddess of the hunt. Wild beasts, forests, mountains, and the moon, sometimes identified with Selene. She was also patroness of childbirth and all living things. Artemis was an eternally young, beautiful virgin goddess armed with a bow and arrows. She loved spending time in forests and mountains hunting, accompanied by her nymphs. Artemis was strict and sometimes cruel, severely punishing those who disturbed her peace or harmed her sacred animals, like Actaeon, turned into a stag and torn apart by his own dogs. Her sacred animals were the doe, she-bear, and dog. Aphrodite, Venus to the Romans, was goddess of love, beauty, desire, fertility, and eternal spring. One myth says she was born from sea foam near Cyprus, hence Cyprian. Another says she was daughter of Zeus and Dione. Aphrodite was irresistibly beautiful. She was accompanied by Eros, Cupid, the winged god of love with arrows, the Charites, Graces, goddesses of charm and beauty, and the Horae, seasons. Her sacred animals were the dove, swan, and sparrow. Her plants were the rose, myrtle, and apple. Aphrodite was married to the lame smith god Hephaestus, but cheated on him with Ares, god of war, and others. She played a key role in starting the Trojan War by promising Paris the love of Helen, the most beautiful woman. Ares, Mars to the Romans, son of Zeus and Hera, was god of war, not the heroic kind like Athena, but the cruel, bloody, furious, and senseless kind. Ares reveled in battles, the cries and groans of the dying. His companions were Eris, strife, Phobos, fear, and Deimos, terror. He wasn't much loved by gods or mortals. Other gods, like Athena, or even mortal heroes like Diomedes, often beat him. His sacred animals were the dog and vulture. Hephaestus, Vulcan to the Romans, son of Zeus and Hera, or born to Hera alone, was god of fire, smithing, crafts, and metalwork. Hephaestus was lame in both feet, thrown from Olympus by Zeus or Hera. He lived in his forge on Olympus or within Mount Etna, where he crafted weapons for the gods, Zeus's lightning, Poseidon's trident, Achilles' armor, and made amazing machines and jewelry with the Cyclopes. Hephaestus was a master craftsman, but the unloved, unattractive husband of beautiful Aphrodite. Hermes, Mercury to the Romans, son of Zeus and the nymph Maia, was the messenger god, patron of travelers, merchants, shepherds, athletes, speakers, thieves, and tricksters. Hermes was clever, cunning, swift, and eloquent. His symbols were winged sandals for instant travel, a winged helmet, and the caduceus, a magical staff entwined by two snakes, reconciling enemies and inducing sleep. Hermes guided souls of the dead to Hades as Psychopompos, soul guide. Demeter, Ceres to the Romans, sister of Zeus, was goddess of fertility, agriculture, harvest, and the seasons. She taught people to farm, sow grain, and reap harvests. Demeter was kind and generous. But when her daughter Persephone, Kore, was abducted by Hades and taken to the underworld, Demeter fell into deep grief, and famine struck the earth. Zeus intervened, decreeing Persephone spend 2/3 of the year with her mother on earth and 1/3 with her husband below. This myth explained the seasons. The famous Eleusinian mysteries, secret rites promising initiates bliss in the afterlife, honored Demeter and Persephone at Eleusis. Dionysus, Bacchus to the Romans, son of Zeus and the mortal woman Semele, was god of the vine, winemaking, earth's fertile forces, ecstasy, revelry, and theater. His cult, likely from Thrace or Asia Minor, involved wild, ecstatic rites with his followers, satyrs, goat-legged creatures, and Maenads, Bacchante, women in sacred frenzy. Dionysus taught people to grow grapes and make wine, which cheers the heart and eases cares. Festivals in his honor, Dionysia, featured plays giving birth to Greek tragedy and comedy. Hestia, Vesta to the Romans, sister of Zeus, was goddess of the hearth, sacred fire, family unity, and order. She was quiet, modest, and chaste, rarely leaving Olympus. Hestia protected every family and city. Her eternal flame burned in public buildings, Prytania. These 12 Olympians were the core, but many other deities existed, demigods, nymphs, heroes, mythical creatures, filling the world and playing roles in the rich mythology. As we mentally climb Olympus to glimpse this shining home of immortals, may their images, full of power, beauty, and human passions, help us grasp the depth of ancient myths, and their calm grandeur bring peace, preparing us for dreams where myths live and gods speak in starlight whispers. Leaving Olympus's shining peaks for now, we descend to earth to follow ancient Greece's most famous heroes. Heroes in Greek myth were mortals or demigods, sons of gods and mortal women, or descendants of gods, gifted with superhuman strength, courage, intelligence, and beauty. They performed incredible feats, fought monsters, founded cities, made laws, protected the weak, punished villains, serving as role models and objects of worship. Their lives were often tragic, filled with suffering and injustice, but they faced trials with honor, leaving behind great fame. Perhaps Greece's greatest and most popular hero was Heracles, Hercules to the Romans, son of Zeus and the mortal Alcmene, wife of King Amphitryon of Thebes. Still in his cradle, Heracles showed immense strength by strangling 2 huge snakes sent by jealous Hera to kill him. Hera persecuted Heracles all his life, driving him mad and sending trials. Once, in a madness sent by Hera, Heracles killed his own children. Horrified, he sought the Delphic oracle to learn how to atone. The Pythia ordered him to serve his kinsman, King Eurystheus of Mycenae, and perform 12 labors. These 12 labors became symbols of human strength, courage, and perseverance against evil and chaos. 1. Slaying the Nemean lion, a monstrous beast with impenetrable skin, which Heracles wore as a cloak. 2. Slaying the Lernaean hydra, a multi-headed serpent where 2 heads grew back for each one cut off. His nephew Iolaus helped by cauterizing the stumps. 3. Capturing the Ceryneian hind, a golden-horned, bronze-hooved deer sacred to Artemis. 4th. Capturing the Erymanthian boar, a boar ravaging Arcadia. 5. Cleaning the Augean stables, vast stables of King Augeas, uncleaned for 30 years. Heracles did it in a day by diverting 2 rivers. 6. Slaying the Stymphalian birds, man-eating birds with bronze beaks, claws, and feathers. 7. Capturing the Cretan bull, a savage bull sent by Poseidon to Crete. 8. Stealing the mares of Diomedes. Horses of a Thracian king fed human flesh. Heracles fed Diomedes to them. 9. Obtaining the girdle of Hippolyta, belt of the Amazon queen. 10. Stealing the cattle of Geryon, a 3-headed, 3-bodied giant on the far western island Erythea. 11th. Fetching the golden apples of the Hesperides, apples of immortality guarded by nymphs, daughters of Atlas, on the edge of the world. Atlas held up the sky while Heracles picked the apples. 12. Capturing Cerberus, bringing the 3-headed guard dog of Hades up from the underworld. Heracles also joined the Argonauts, freed Prometheus, fought centaurs, and founded the Olympic Games. His life was struggle and suffering, but he always won. He died from his wife Deianira's trick. She gave him a robe soaked in the poisoned blood of the centaur Nessus, hoping to regain his love. Dying in agony on a funeral pyre, Heracles was taken to Olympus by the gods, made immortal, and reconciled with Hera. Another famous hero, especially honored in Athens, was Theseus, son of King Aegeus of Athens, or Poseidon, and Aethra. As a youth, Theseus cleared the road from Trojan to Athens of bandits and monsters, Procrustes, Siren, Sinis. His greatest feat was killing the Minotaur, a man-bull monster in Crete's labyrinth, to whom Athens had to send 7 youths and 7 maidens yearly as sacrifice. Theseus went willingly, helped by King Minos's daughter Ariadne, who gave him thread to escape the labyrinth after killing the beast. Returning, he forgot to change black sails to white, signaling success. King Aegeus, seeing black sails, thought his son dead and threw himself into the sea, now Aegean. Theseus became king of Athens, unified Attica, and laid foundations for democracy. He also joined the Argonauts, fought Amazons, marrying Queen Hippolyta Antiope, and descended to Hades with his friend Pirithous to kidnap Persephone, getting captured until rescued by Heracles. His end was sad, exiled and killed on Cyrus. Perseus, son of Zeus and Danae, daughter of King Acrisius of Argos, is also famous. An oracle told Acrisius his grandson would kill him, so he locked Danae away. Zeus came as golden rain, and Perseus was born. Acrisius cast mother and child adrift in a chest. Washed ashore Sisyphus, fisherman Dictys took them in. King Polydectes desired Danae and sent Perseus for Medusa's head, a gorgon with snake hair whose gaze turned men to stone. Athena and Hermes helped Perseus. He got winged sandals, a magic bag, and Hades' cap of invisibility. Using his shield's reflection, Perseus beheaded Medusa, from whose body sprang Pegasus and Chrysaor. On his return, Perseus saved Princess Andromeda from a sea monster and married her. He turned Polydectes and his men to stone with Medusa's head. Later, accidentally killing Acrisius with a discus, the prophecy came true. Perseus founded Mycenae. Another great quest was the voyage of the Argonauts for the Golden Fleece. Jason, rightful heir to Iolcus, was sent by usurper Uncle Peleus to fetch the fleece of a magical golden ram, kept in distant Colchis, Black Sea coast, by King Aias, guarded by a dragon. Jason gathered Greece's bravest heroes, Hercules, Theseus, Orpheus, Castor, and Pollux, and built the ship Argo, swift. Their journey was perilous, passing the women-only Lemnos, fighting earth-born giants, navigating the clashing rocks, Symplegades, resisting the sirens. In Colchis, King Aias' daughter, the sorceress Medea, fell in love with Jason and helped him yoke fire-breathing bulls, sow dragon's teeth, which sprouted warriors, and steal the fleece by drugging the dragon. Pursued by Aias, they fled. Back in Iolcus, Peleus refused to yield power. Medea tricked Peleus' daughters into killing him. Jason later abandoned Medea for another wife. Medea killed their children and his new bride in revenge. Jason died crushed by the rotting Argo. Heroes of the Trojan War hold a special place. Greatest was Achilles, son of King Peleus, and the sea nymph Thetis. Thetis dipped him in the river Styx to make him invulnerable, holding him by the heel, Achilles' heel. Raised by the centaur Chiron, he became the Greeks' bravest, strongest, fastest warrior at Troy. His anger at Agamemnon for taking his war prize Briseis is central to Homer's Iliad. Only after his friend Patroclus died did Achilles return, killing Trojan hero Hector. Achilles died before Troy fell, hit in the heel by Paris's arrow, guided by Apollo. Odysseus, king of Ithaca, was famed for his cunning and eloquence. He devised the Trojan horse trick. After the war, he wandered 10 years, Homer's Odyssey, before returning to faithful wife Penelope, facing lotus-eaters, the Cyclops Polyphemus, Circe the sorceress, the underworld, sirens, Scylla and Charybdis, and Calypso's island. Disguised, he returned to Ithaca, and with son Telemachus, killed the suitors plaguing his palace. Other heroes included Bellerophon, tamed Pegasus, killed Chimera; Orpheus descended to Hades for Eurydice; Cadmus founded Thebes, sowed dragon's teeth; Oedipus solved Sphinx's riddle, unwittingly committed terrible crimes. These stories, full of drama, tragedy, love, betrayal, courage, and sacrifice, reflected Greek ideas about fate, human-god relations, fighting evil, and eternal values. They served as entertainment and moral education. As we recall these legendary heroes, their incredible feats and hard lives, may their courage inspire us to overcome our own troubles, and their ancient wisdom carry us to a world where reality and myth blur, anything is possible, and healing sleep awaits. Beyond individual god and hero tales, Greek mythology has vast, complex cycles, weaving many characters and dramatic events around a central conflict, curse, or place. The two most significant are the Trojan and Theban cycles. The Trojan cycle, perhaps most famous, tells of the 10-year siege and fall of Troy, Ilium, by united Greek forces. The cause was Paris, Trojan prince, abducting Helen, wife of Spartan king Menelaus, the most beautiful woman. But roots go deeper to divine intrigue. It began at the wedding of hero Peleus and sea nymph Thetis, Achilles' parents. Eris, strife, uninvited, tossed a golden apple, inscribed, "For the fairest." Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite fought for it. Zeus ordered Hermes to take them to Trojan prince Paris on Mount Ida to judge. Each goddess offered a bribe. Hera, power, wealth. Athena, glory, wisdom. Aphrodite, love of Helen. Paris chose Aphrodite. This judgment of Paris doomed Troy. Aphrodite helped Paris seduce Helen in Sparta and flee with her and treasure to Troy. Menelaus called his powerful brother Agamemnon, king of Mycenae. Agamemnon rallied Greek kings, former suitors of Helen sworn to protect her marriage. Over 1,000 ships sailed from Aulis. At Troy's walls gathered Greek heroes: Agamemnon, Menelaus, Achilles, Odysseus, Diomedes, Ajax, Nestor. Trojans were led by aged King Priam and his sons, noble Hector, chief defender, and Paris. Gods took sides. Hera, Athena, Poseidon favored Greeks. Aphrodite, Apollo, Ares favored Trojans. Zeus tried neutrality. After 10 bloody years, many heroes dead. Hector by Achilles, Achilles by Paris, Apollo. The Greeks took Troy via Odysseus's wooden horse trick. The horse, filled with Greek soldiers, was left as a gift. Ignoring warnings from priest Laocoon, killed by sea serpents, and prophetess Cassandra, the Trojans dragged it inside. At night, Greeks emerged, opened the gates, and Troy was sacked and burned. Most men killed, women and children enslaved. Few Trojans escaped, notably Aeneas, son of Anchises, Aphrodite, who carried his father and son Ascanius from the burning city, eventually reaching Italy, where his descendants founded Rome. The Greeks' journey home, nostoi, was perilous. Odysseus's 10-year wanderings are most famous. The Trojan cycle inspired Greek literature, theater, and art, exploring heroism, honor, fate, divine meddling, and tragic human flaws. The Theban cycle, equally tragic, centers on Thebes and the cursed royal house of Labdacus. It began with founder Cadmus, son of Phoenician king Agenor, brother of Europa. Sent to find Europa, abducted by Zeus as a bull, Cadmus consulted Delphi. Apollo told him to follow a special cow and found a city where it rested, Thebes. Cadmus killed a dragon guarding a spring sacred to Ares, sowed its teeth, and armed warriors, Spartoi, sprang up, fighting until 5 survived, ancestors of Theban nobility. Cadmus married Harmonia, daughter of Ares Aphrodite. Their wedding was attended by all Olympians, but killing the dragon brought a curse upon Cadmus's line. The most tragic figure was Oedipus, descendant of Cadmus, son of King Laius and Queen Jocasta of Thebes. An oracle told Laius his son would kill him and marry Jocasta. Laius pierced baby Oedipus's ankles, swollen foot, and abandoned him on Mount Cithaeron. Saved by shepherds, Oedipus was adopted by King Polybus and Queen Merope of Corinth. Learning he wasn't their son, Oedipus went to Delphi. The oracle repeated the prophecy. Thinking Polybus/Merope his parents, Oedipus vowed never to return. On the road to Thebes, he argued with and killed an old man, Laius, at a crossroads. Reaching Thebes, he found the city plagued by the Sphinx, a winged lion-woman monster who killed anyone failing her riddle. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 at noon, and 3 in the evening? Oedipus answered, man, baby, adult, old man with staff. The Sphinx killed herself. Grateful Thebans made Oedipus king, and he married Laius's widow, Jocasta. They ruled happily, having 4 children, Eteocles, Polynices, Antigone, Ismene. Later, plague struck. The oracle said it would end when Laius's killer was found and banished. Oedipus, unaware he was the killer, investigated and uncovered the horrifying truth: patricide and incest. Jocasta hanged herself. Oedipus blinded himself with her brooches and was exiled. He wandered, guided by faithful daughter Antigone, finding peace near Athens in Colonus. Oedipus's sons, Eteocles and Polynices, agreed to rule Thebes alternately, yearly. Eteocles refused to yield after his year, exiling Polynices. Polynices went to Argos, married King Adrastus's daughter, and raised an army of 7 against Thebes. Adrastus, Polynices, Tydeus, Capaneus, Hippomedon, Parthenopaeus, Amphiaraus. The siege failed. All leaders except Adrastus died. Eteocles and Polynices killed each other in single combat. New King Creon, Jocasta's brother, ordered Eteocles buried with honor, but left Polynices, a traitor, unburied, a terrible punishment for the soul. Their sister Antigone, defying Creon's death sentence, performed burial rites for Polynices and was walled alive in a cave where she killed herself. This conflict between human law, Creon's decree, and divine duty, family love, Antigone's act, is the core of Sophocles' tragedy, Antigone. The Theban cycle, like the Trojan, explores fate, guilt, responsibility, human limits, and clashes with divine will. Beyond gods, titans, heroes, and epic cycles, the Greek mythical world teemed with other amazing, beautiful, and sometimes terrifying creatures, embodying nature's forces, human passions, or pure fantasy. These were often monsters, offspring of Gaia and Tartarus or other chthonic forces, symbolizing primal chaos, wildness, destruction, and threats to divine human order. We've mentioned Minotaur, Man-Bull in Crete's Labyrinth, Sphinx, Lion-Woman Riddler at Thebes, Lernaean Hydra, multi-headed regenerating snake, Nemean lion, impenetrable skin, Cerberus, three-headed Hades guard dog, Gorgons, winged sisters Stheno, Euryale, Medusa, with snake hair and petrifying gaze, Medusa mortal, killed by Perseus. Chimera, fire-breathing lion-goat-snake hybrid. Echidna, half-woman, half-snake. Mother of monsters, mother of Sphinx, Nemean lion, Hydra, Cerberus, Chimera, Orpheus, wife of Typhon. Typhon, 100-headed fire-breathing dragon fought by Zeus. Harpies, vicious, greedy bird women snatching children-taxed souls, sudden death, and storms. Sirens, enchanting bird women luring sailors to doom with song. Jaurish, Scylla and Charybdis. Sea monsters in the Strait of Messina. Scylla, multi-headed, snatched sailors from ships. Charybdis was a deadly whirlpool. Heroes often battled these monsters, asserting order, reason, and civilization over chaos and wildness. Alongside monsters were friendlier, beautiful, or neutral nature spirits. Nymphs, beautiful maiden spirits of nature. Naiads, fresh water, rivers, springs, lakes. Nereids, oceanids, salt water, seas, oceans. Oreids, mountains. Dryads, hamadryads, trees, forests. They were youthful, graceful, loved music, shock dance, attended gods, Artemis, Dionysus, Apollo, and had affairs with gods, mortals. Satyrs, goat-legged, horned, lustful woodland spirits of fertility, companions of Dionysus, fond of wine, music, pipes, dance, and chasing nymphs. Sometimes identified with older, wiser Selene, like Silenus, Dionysus's tutor. Centaurs, tribe of half-man, half-horse. Most were wild, violent, drunken, e.g., fought Lapiths at Pirate House's wedding. Exceptions like wise, immortal Chiron, son of Cronus, teacher of heroes, Achilles, Jason, Asclepius. The Muses, 9 daughters of Zeus and Mnemosyne, memory, patrons of arts, art sciences, inspiring creators. Calliope, epic poetry, shired science. Clio, history. Euterpe, lyric poetry, shired music. Thalia, comedy. Melpomene, tragedy. Terpsichore, dance choral song. Erato, love poetry. Polyhymnia, sacred hymns, pantomime. Urania, astronomy. Lived on Helicon, Parnassus, led by Apollo Musagetes. The Fates, Moirai, Parcae. 3 stern, implacable goddesses controlling destiny, daughters of Zeus, Artemis, or Night. Clotho, spinner, spun life's thread. Lachesis, a lotter, measured its length, determined a life path, fate. Atropos, inevitable, cut it at death. Their decrees were final. Even Zeus obeyed. Ensured justice, order, law, especially regarding crimes against kin, oaths, and hospitality. The Furies, Erinyes, Dirae, terrifying, relentless goddesses of vengeance, daughters of Night or Gaia, Uranus, pursued criminals, especially kinslayers, oathbreakers, driving them mad or to death, depicted as old hags with snake hair, torches, whips. This diverse world of mythical beings, from shining Olympians and brave heroes to gloomy underworld dwellers, from beautiful nymphs to hideous monsters, reflected the complexity and poetry of ancient Greek ideas about the universe, its governing forces, good and evil, life and death, and humanity's place within a vast, mysterious, often hostile, yet always beautiful world. As we recall these ancient images, like precious stones from a cultural treasure chest, let our imagination carry us back to distant, magical times when myth and reality were one, filled with wonders and secrets. May these stories, full of deep magic and eternal wisdom, guide you into calm, serene, deep sleep, where new discoveries await. So, friends, our long and hopefully fascinating journey through ancient Greek myths and legends draws to a close. We've traveled from primordial chaos to Olympus's shining peaks where mighty gods rule. We witnessed titanic battles, creation, and human origins. We followed brave heroes on perilous quests, rejoiced in their victories, and mourned their tragic fates. We met wondrous creatures, beautiful and terrible, inhabiting this rich world. Greek myths aren't just entertaining stories. They're a whole universe reflecting ancient Greek beliefs about existence, the nature of gods and humans, life's meaning, and death's inevitability. They hold deep wisdom, insight into human psychology, and eternal questions about good, evil, love, hate, heroism, betrayal, fate, free will. The images and stories of Greek mythology have profoundly influenced all later European and world culture. They've inspired poets, writers, artists, sculptors, composers, and playwrights for centuries. We find them in literature, art, philosophy, psychology, astronomy, and everyday speech. Names like Zeus, Hera, Athena, Apollo, Hercules, Odysseus, Prometheus, Oedipus are legendary. Their stories are part of our shared cultural heritage. Studying Greek myths connects us not only to a past civilization, but helps us understand ourselves, our passions, fears, and desires. The themes they explore are timeless and universal, speaking to us across the ages about life's most important questions. Now, as the echoes of mythical battles and divine hymns fade in your mind, as images of shining Olympians, brave heroes, and magical beings slowly dissolve into approaching sleep, let this feeling of touching eternity lull you. Picture a quiet night over Greece, the starry sky under which these amazing stories were born. Picture the calm sea holding ancient sailors' secrets and whispering olive groves, speaking of times long past. Let these peaceful, majestic images fill you with calm and serenity. May your sleep be deep and untroubled, like a child's under divine protection. May it bring rest and renewal, and perhaps new, wonderful dreams inspired by ancient wisdom and beauty. Rest well, friends. May your journey to the realm of Morpheus be easy and pleasant. Good night.